SpongeBob SquarePants is one of the biggest anime characters of all time, with him still captivating children to this very day. While most of the TV show's material is readily available to the public, that can't be said for the movie A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, with many wondering where this piece of lost media is. When I was growing up in the early 2000s, SpongeBob was the king of cartoons. At the time, it was easily the biggest kids show around and may still be over 15 years later. This is apparent by the massive amount of toys, video games, and books created around the Nickelodeon cartoon. Why was the show so successful? Well, just like most other great cartoons over the years, it was able to have humor for both children and adults. When you look back at those first few seasons, it's pure gold. Episodes like Pizza Delivery, Frankendoodle, and Rock Bottom remain some of the greatest pieces of television of all time. A show like this is nothing without memorable characters, and SpongeBob doesn't disappoint. You have our happy and optimistic star of the show, his idiotic best friend Patrick, Squidward his miserable neighbor, and his cheapskate boss Mr. Krabs, to name a few. Unlike other shows, every character is enjoyable in their own way. Even though the quality of the show dropped off after the first couple of seasons, I still like to occasionally go back and watch the show at its height. While other cartoons that I watched as a kid didn't age that well, SpongeBob holds up. But all these years later, there is an odd piece of SpongeBob history that the internet found out was missing. While everyone knows of the SpongeBob TV show and its 2 movies, many are not aware of the strange listing on Amazon for an unreleased mockumentary that was slated for release on November 22, 2011. This was called A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, and there is little to no information about it. You can find thousands upon thousands of listings on Amazon for just about anything you can imagine, and this was one of them. For years it was just ignored until people online discovered it. After not being able to purchase a copy because there was none available, some interested in lost media started asking around to see if there was any information about it. A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants film cover has essentially no relation to the film itself. The quotes at the top are from non-existent people in magazines. The background art was found to have been made by an unrelated professional illustrator, and the boy on the cover is not an actor but just a stock image anyone can purchase. All we know for sure is that it's feature length and that it has an official plot synopsis which reads, "In this mockumentary, SpongeBob lives above ground like all Hollywood superstars. Afraid that SpongeBob is becoming old news, his boss runs a contest called Spend a Day with SpongeBob. The contest makes SpongeBob the talk of the town, as thousands of kids enter to win. The lucky winner is Seth, and he is ecstatic about his day with SpongeBob. However, the day becomes a roller coaster ride as things don't go quite as they planned." This movie began to spark interest on 4chan's Comics and Cartoons board. On August 4th, 2015, a thread was started, asking if anyone had found the film yet. This led to more interest in finding the movie. 2 employees working at different entertainment stores came forward in one of the threads, and found that the film was listed in an employee-only system not accessible to the public. They both placed an order on the film, but the orders never came in after the supposed 2-week delivery. Some managed to get in touch with MVD, the distributor of the film. MVD stated that they never received any copies and that it was still in the pre-order stage when cancelled. Case closed, the movie was cancelled and doesn't exist. Right? Well, not exactly. MVD themselves also stated that there may have been promotional copies made, and a thread on SB Mania made 2 years before the search claims that there was one sold on Amazon for $3,000. So who made A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants then? The company on the box, Innovism Films, was actually just one of many fake names used by Regal Films. Regal Films is a company that's most famous for producing various unauthorized documentaries that are, well, pretty terrible.
I think they saw a different talent in him.
Besides the obvious, there's been quite a bit of shadiness surrounding Regal. During the beginning of the search, it was found that their website attempted to install Trojan viruses into viewers' computers. On top of this, there was a tweet from a guy claiming he watched A Day with SpongeBob from 2012, well before the search for the movie started, so it couldn't be a troll. In 2014, there was an alleged theme song for the movie uploaded on YouTube. I'm currently playing it in the background. At this point, a majority of the effort to find the film centered around contacting Regal employees and people who worked with them. When looking, many supposed employees either don't have any online presence or deny any association, despite it being clear that they had worked with the company in the past. One person found out to be the director of a lot of their films is Jason Boritz. Despite having an online presence, he continues to ignore all messages about a day with SpongeBob SquarePants, and the rare few he has responded to, he claims he was never involved with Regal, despite appearing on screen in one of their documentaries and referencing the company in older tweets. The main person people focused in on was the co-creator of Regal Films, Lorenzo Hawley. When a member of the search contacted one of the employees at Lorenzo's grocery store, Foy Foods, she offered to leave a message to Lorenzo about a day with SpongeBob SquarePants, and when he received it, he became incredibly upset. It's believed he also told the employees to stop talking to 4chaners calling the store about the SpongeBob movie. While we're on the subject, let's go into a little bit more detail about his store, Foy Foods. Regal Films headquarters is near a strip mall in the Atlanta area. Multiple people have claimed to have visited the building with differing reports. Eventually, it was discovered that the address used was the location of Lorenzo's grocery store. Foy Foods, like Regal, was co-founded by Lorenzo. According to their website, they have recognized a niche in the marketplace for healthier food alternatives. What's weird is that they were found out to be a website hosting over 30 pages worth of duplicate pages that served as a host for a scam known as the Aussie method. Not only that, but they were also hosting unintelligible, not suitable for work content. So was their website hacked or something else? With all of this information, many started to create their own theories. One is that the film was cancelled because of a lawsuit from Viacom and Nickelodeon. It would explain why many of Regal's employees are unable to discuss the film. But when a YouTuber reached out to his contact at Nickelodeon, they knew nothing about this. Another theory passed around was that this was all a front for a prostitution ring. While searching for contact information, a user discovered a page belonging to them on the website Stage 32, a social network for creative professionals. Here, Lorenzo gives an address for others to send their content in for distribution. When this address was looked into, it was found that someone left a comment, claiming that it was being used as a massage parlor where sexual acts were performed for money. Because of the many fake names and companies associated with Regal Films, others started to raise suspicion that this company was being used as a front for a money laundering scheme, so they could take dirty money and make it clean by running it through the company. Could you imagine running a company providing illegal services and all of a sudden people on 4chan started snooping around calling you about some SpongeBob movie? It would explain why no one was willing to talk, but there was soon going to be a break in the case. After months of searching, things started to slow down. People exhausted every possible lead. It was just one dead end after another. People started to lose faith that they would ever get to the bottom of this strange little movie. Was it all really just a waste of time? Soon enough though, the search would actually make contact with the creator of A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, who would finally be able to explain the film's history to the internet. The interviews with him were recorded with his identity being hidden, afraid that people would come after him.
So I'm just gonna clear up a few things about A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants. Various people have been contacting me about, them getting emails and, just different people trying to get information about the film and what happened. And I think I ran into it on the internet. I forgot the name of the website, but I think it's Lost Media. I don't know, some type of page. And I was reading all the threads and all the comments. Some of it was kind of funny, because a lot of the stuff is like made up and people are just like speculating on a bunch of stuff that doesn't even make sense.
In this interview, he would explain that he wanted to make a film called A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, and Regal set up a page on Amazon to try to drive up anticipation for the project. He would also explain what the movie was about.
I was developing different ideas and reaching out to different producers since they, were doing all these other documentaries, and I wanted to do something that was more like a mockumentary, something that was funny, kind of like a Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm style, but, with SpongeBob, because, I'm a SpongeBob fan, not a hardcore fan, but I definitely like the cartoon, and I always thought it was funny, like, what if he had a real life outside of the cartoon world or animation world? And I thought it was kind of a cool idea.
Unfortunately, the funding for this movie fell through, but the Amazon listing remained up to be forgotten. That is until the internet went crazy over the movie and started to contact anyone involved. He also went on to say Lorenzo is a good guy and is running a legitimate business. Now you may be saying this doesn't explain the tweet from the person claiming they watched the film in 2012 and that strange theme song. Well, as for the tweet, it appears the guy was just watching the SpongeBob movie and for some reason called it A Day with SpongeBob, and it was a similar situation with the YouTube video. I guess with how much content there is online, there was bound to be another person or two that would use those words in that order. It's crazy to think what the online community is capable of when they work together, even when it's only to find a missing SpongeBob movie that never actually came out. But I'd argue it's all about the journey, not the destination. Well, it turns out that this movie was never actually made. That doesn't mean there isn't lost media out there, and we should all keep our eyes open for it. So until next time, thank you for watching.